Hey, what's going on, everybody? I've been really slacking in my booktube videos, and that's why this is the October book haul. And I would kind of just like run in circles, explain why I'm so far behind, but basically I just been slacking. So let's just go ahead and get on with my October book haul. Let's see, I think most of these books came from a used bookstore. Me and my friend Tim did like an hour trip down there just to peruse through the like 200,000 books and almost like no organization or whatever. It's basically there's some nonfiction books over there and there's like fiction over there. And like you kind of like go through them, but it's kind of fun, but kind of gets old after a little while. I don't know. Anyways, first book here. Got this like kind of really cool shape. I got another one on the Allagash River waterway. In this like shape as well, but this one is Western Newfoundland and Grossmoor National Park by Brian Bursey, and this is all about sort of the I guess provincial park. I was gonna say state park, but provincial park of Grossmoor National Park in Canada, obviously in Newfoundland, which I think is really cool. I've never actually been to Newfoundland or Labrador, though they're on my bucket list because I live in northern Maine, so I live about 15-20 minutes from like the New Brunswick border, and Newfoundland's kind of like above New Brunswick, I guess. But definitely something I kind of like really want to do. Just really pristine like wilderness and everything. Like I said, I live in the middle of nowhere, so I kind of like have a soft spot for all these like kind of cool like national parks and state parks and provincial areas, I guess, that are like super rural and everything. But I kind of like these books. Like I got like I think this is my third one like on this sort of shape, this weird like landscape like orientation for a book. I think they're actually really good for kind of like nature books that have a lot of sort of just the photography is kind of like the main aspect of it. But yeah, that's why I picked up that book. We're going to start with sort of the naturey books and then kind of work our way to the other topics, I guess, in nonfiction. This one I think I just picked up because it was like super cheap. 50 Places to Go Birding Before You Die. And it just kind of look like a neat, like almost like a little coffee table type book. Without like a whole ton of stuff in it per se, but obviously it just kind of deals with 50 different locations around the world. If you like bird watching, like we do, I don't even ask. Let's see, we put out bird food every. We got okay. Just for example, I have on my deck. I built like 2 trays that you just like pour the food on and stuff, just so we can like see all the birds like from our window and everything like, every day. But Maine was on here somewhere. If I can like go look at it, and I love how I'm like in the ends like looking down, but the Scarborough Marsh in Maine, so that's definitely something I could do like on a day trip or something. Maybe not a day trip, I mean it's still like a good 4 or 5 hours one way, but still just kind of cool, seeing something kind of vaguely local to me on one of the best places in the world to go birding and stuff. So I definitely will be going there sometime in 2022. Alright, next up, I got the Amphibians of New England to go on my field guide shelf. I got 2 field guide-ish books. Obviously, I just picked this one up because it's a New England-based, book. We don't have a whole lot of amphibians here, in northern Maine. Maine in general is just not great on reptiles or amphibians, just because the climate is pretty rough for cold-blooded animals and stuff, but like we do have like spotted salamanders and things, so I think it's kind of a cool like little local book. They can't forget the amphibians. And then the last field guide-ish book is A Birder's Guide to the Coast of Maine. I definitely just wanted to add this one to the collection. I think it was like $2 or something, $3, and I was like, I can't like pass it up just because it's almost like one of those like kind of just like a vintage book, and it's kind of cool comparing like kind of older field guides to how they like kind of like describe like how you go about doing things, or like what you're supposed to like focus on as a way to like identify birds, especially like birding is kind of like the main one for like field guide usage, except maybe trees. But obviously this is dealing with sort of like the down east coast and like kind of all the islands and stuff, off the coast of Maine and everything. You got the puffins there, so not technically where I live on inland in the middle of the woods, but still pretty cool stuff. And then I lied, not the last nature book. We have Edward O. Wilson, who like right there, winner of 2 Pulitzer Prizes, probably one of the most famous nature writers writing right now, though I think he's got to be like in his 90s or something. But he's put forth the the half Earth hypothesis, or I guess it's not really a hypothesis, just like the half Earth plan project type of thing, where we should basically take half of like the landmass of like Earth and preserve it for like nature and stuff, and basically do nothing to it. Obviously, he deals with that a lot more in the book on this one, but this one is The Diversity of Life, and I don't exactly know too much about this book in particular. I suppose it's probably going to be about, all the different adaptations of life forms and different, just broad kind of looking at, like, overview of how crazy life and natural selection can, like, make things. So, yeah, anything about Edward Wilson, I'm probably just going to, like, pick up. Okay, this is the last nature book, and it's A Sand County Almanac by Aldo Leopold. This is probably this is like one of the pillars of, like, the environmental canon, or the nature canon, I guess. And I don't actually have a copy, and I haven't read it yet. I think this was written, I want to say, right after his death. Published, I guess. He didn't, like, write it after he was dead, but I think it was published right after his death in the 40s. But like I said, this is definitely, like, kind of one of the pillars that nature writing sort of stands on, and it's sort of his just nature observations and thoughts of like the sand, I guess, like the Sand Hill country of Wisconsin, I believe. I'm not, like, 100% familiar with it, but there's a lot of sort of musings on sort of man's, like, or humans, like, relationship with the land and with nature and everything like that, and that's sort of why it's, like, one of the cornerstones of environmental writing. So definitely need to get around to it sometime this year. So those were all the nature books. Next up we have Roverandom by J.R.R. Tolkien, because I'm going to be starting a Tolkien collection, and it'll pretty much be my only fiction collection in my library. I'm going to be building some new shelves, actually, like, on the wall across from this one, but I'll probably do, like, a library tour and stuff someday, like, whenever I build them and everything. I actually don't know what this one is about, to be honest, but, like, it's Tolkien and it's cheap. I'm picking it up, basically. And also, for my December haul, I have a super cool Tolkien book coming up. I found one of these Pelican books, and if you don't know what these are sort of the non-fiction version of, like, the Penguin classics, essentially. They made, like, the Pelican books, I guess. And this one I just picked up because it's called Before Philosophy, a study of the primitive myths, beliefs, and speculations of Egypt and Mesopotamia, out of which grew the religions and philosophies of the later world. Seems like, pretty heavy stuff. Some of this, this stuff kind of, like, delves into more, like, anthropology and stuff. It can get, like, really muddy and murky really fast, but I thought it was a pretty short book, about 200 pages. I'm like, whenever I get on, like, a philosophy kick, this might be kind of a good one to just sort of pick up. And I got 2 history books, and the last one, is actually a Folio Society book that I was able to pick up for super cheap, so that's really cool. We have Becoming Charlemagne, Europe, Baghdad, and the Empires of AD 800. And the reason I picked this one up, Charlemagne's kind of a cool figure of the Dark Ages, but based on the subtitle, Europe, Baghdad, and the Empires of AD 800, I think this is going to be a book sort of comparing, contrasting, maybe, between Charlemagne, who's, the Holy Roman Emperor or whatever, and, like, Western Europe, which is kind of like the backwater compared to the other two. The other empires would be the Sultan, I guess, the Caliphate, is it the Umayyad Caliphate, centered on Baghdad in the Middle East, and also around 800 would be the Empress Irene in Byzantium. And those two empires were a lot, actually, bigger and more prosperous than the the Holy Roman, and, like, Western Europe, at around 800 was sort of pretty much a backwater. So I think it's gonna be a cool comparison of, like, all 3 of these things, because we do think of, like, Charlemagne as being, like, S tier, like, like Roman Empire stuff, and it's not. So that's kind of why I picked this one up, even though I think there are more, like, I guess I've never seen this one before, and I've seen lots of other biographies of Charlemagne online, but like I said, the subtitle kind of piqued my interest on this one. And lastly, I picked up a Folio Society book for $8, and it is The World of Odysseus. And I guess I don't want to say, because I would feel really silly if I got it wrong. M.I. Finley, introduced by Simon Hornblower, who actually edited the Oxford Companion to the Classical Age or something like that. But M.I. Finley wrote a biography of Thucydides that I remember reading in college, and it was, I'm not gonna lie, I don't really remember too much about it, because I had to, like, read it for, like, an assignment or something. But anyways, I collect these Folio Society books, so anytime I can get a cool one, like, just look how awesome the sort of, like, just the Folio Society books are just super high quality, really enjoy them. It's just gonna look really great on the shelf next to the other ones, and I think there is like a Folio Society like kind of history of Greece collection with like 4 books, and I think it's in this like color palette and style and everything. So it'll be like a good kind of companion book to those if I ever decide to pick them up. So there you have it. Those were all the books I picked up in the month of October. I've already sorted out my November and December ones as well. Hopefully I'll be getting up some more videos roughly on some sort of schedule. We'll see about that. Let me know what one of your favorite books that, like I said, this was October. I'm not gonna ask people what their favorite book of October was, but let me know what one of the favorite books you picked up over sort of the holiday season, the month of December, anything like that. Let me know in the comments down below. I'm always glad to see what everyone else is getting and excited for, stuff like that. Don't forget to check out Instagram, my Etsy shop, and all that kind of cool stuff. And always remember, whatever you're reading, read victoriously.